Well, all right, y'all. All across the USC, Compton, Watts, Bay to LA, Pomona, California, from valley to valley, we represent that killer Cali. So if you keeping it real on your side of your town, you tune in to Gangsta Chronicles.
Gangsta Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Gangsta Chronicles, this is not your average show.
You're now tuned into the real MC8, Big James, and Big Steel.
This is strictly from the streets.
Hello.
We represent the James.
We'd like to welcome everyone to another edition of the Gangsta Chronicles podcast, and I'm with my homeboy,
Big J.
And Big J, I'll allow you to do the introductions today.
Well, ain't too many words to say about this brother right here. You know, he old school. He's been around a long time. He done did time in prison. And I just want to say I'm glad to have him here to educate us, because I done learned a lot from listening to him, talking to him on the phone. And he makes a lot of valid points. So we're going to let him say his name and bring it in and show us what he's working with.
Greetings, my brothers and sisters. I go by the handle of my African name is Hannibal Cambone, which means Hannibal itself means grace to the people. No, Cambone itself means love for the people. And Hannibal means the oppressor being suffered by a lightning bolt. So a lightning bolt to the oppressor and love for the people. That's what Hannibal Cambone means. Now, I want to also let you know that everybody know me already, but they also call me Original Frog, a.k.a. Triple OG Frog. And the subject today is based on the truth. That's the name I'm going to name this episode right here. Is called The Truth. You know what I'm saying? And I believe in the truth, you know, and it's kind of strange how things operate in life sometimes. Sometimes, you know, we get caught up into just going by he say and she say. Things are what a person say instead of investigating, you know. And this is going to be somewhat of like a hearing, like a courtroom hearing in a sense. We're dealing with facts. We're dealing with evidence. We're dealing with things. We're dealing with things of that can become what you call without challenging. Some things you can't even challenge in life. It is what it is, you know. AC King Babalouie, that's my boy right there. And, you know, it's something that he said that I would always keep with me. He said, when you speak on something, you better have something to back it up with. Because if you don't have nothing to back it up with, that's all it is. It's just talk, you know, and talk is cheap, my brother. A picture says 1,000 words. Witness also says 1,000 words that can get you convicted. So my whole point is the truth.
All right, let me interject. Let me come in here. When you say the truth, is you speaking on the truth of the history of how we came about gangbanging and what our neighborhoods meant and how they started? The truth, like. Well,
AC King Babalouie, he had a dispute about the truth with dealing with the brother Brim from the west side named Elgin, you know, and that got kind of heated because of, I think it had a lot to do with ego tripping, you know, of who's right and who's wrong. But in reality, though, you know, for those who were there, you know, that's what it basically boils down to. I was there. You know, I walked on Babalouie Street in 74 and 75. I was there kicking it with Tab, you know what I'm saying, and putting in 74 and 75 before Tab got killed. So I knew these guys like Terry Carter and Ronnie Graham. So my whole thing is that being that I know these guys personally and I know it evolved in from Babalouie Street. A lot of people don't understand that this just didn't happen overnight. This wasn't something that just popped up. This was what you call a evolution, you know. And the evolution was this, that people still don't want to believe. But I don't know why they don't want to believe, because maybe because the Brims have a longer history than the Pyrus and then the bounty hunters. I guess they feel that, you know, age is nothing really but a number when it comes to this right here, because history has something to do with how can I say, the origin. And what is the origin? This is the origin right here. Let me show you the origin. Brand new. I bought this just to show you something right here. This right here is the origin of the Bloods, the real Bloods, you know what I'm saying, that I know, that I grew up with. This is the origin. And when I was in Centennial High, 1974, I never seen a red rag in my life claiming to be Pyru until I went to Centennial in 74. Nobody had the red bandana at Lock High before I went to Centennial. I was there with Peabody from West Side DeVillay. I was there with with Arthur Ray, a Little Art from Athens Park. He was there. Him and Black Glove from Athens Park. Nobody had the red bandana in 74. Nobody, you know. But the Pyrus, when I touched down, I would say November of 74. The red rag or the red bandana or the red flag, as people want to call it, all it meant was just one thing in Compton, and it didn't mean nothing else. And I never saw it nowhere else in Los Angeles. And the word that they used for that red bandana was Pyru.
So from the Nickersons to the Swans, nobody had that bandana?
Nobody had that red bandana. And it's kind of strange that the backup is this. I just saw a video of the origin of the Peace Stone with T.J. Rogers, rest in peace. And he made a statement saying back in 1969, everybody was saying cuz, and everybody was wearing a blue rag, which is not the truth when it comes to Compton and Watts, my brother. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I didn't hear the word cuz until like 74. And I didn't hear the word blood until around about like 74, 75. And the red bandana and all that, 74, 73. This stuff did not happen in no early 70s, 70, 71. That is not true at all.
Well, Frog, can I ask you a question for the people? How did the red rag originate? Like, just the symbolism of it. How did that come about?
Well, everything always have a reaction, my brother. For at one time it was white power by the Ku Klux Klan, and what did we say in retaliation? Black power. Okay, when the Compton Crips start wearing their blue rags after Buddha got killed, you know what I'm saying? The Compton Crips, the West Side Crips, everybody started wearing blue rags. The Bloods didn't have nothing because we wasn't no Bloods at the time. But when the Pyru seen that blue rag, their opposition at Centennial, the Apache is also known as a red. The Centennial is painted red and burgundy also. So that can also be a clue for to give them the flag, the red bandana. But they took that red from Centennial and made it into a bandana. And when it became a bandana, they took it to YTS. And when they took it to YTS, it became a blood rag and not a Pyru rag no more. And why would I say that? Is because, let me tell you, LB and Little Vince is the original Pyrus who pushed that bloodline that took the place of Pyru. They pushed that all the way to the bounty hunters and gave the bounty hunters who threw up the B, as in bounty hunters, the first B came from bounty hunter, and they took that B and brought the B to Bloods. And the Pyru took the bandana and brought the bandana into Bloods. So they collaborated and they started the B and the red rag as one that came into Bloods. So it's a collaboration. The original B is bounty hunter / blood. The original red flag is Pyru / blood. Together, they collaborated and started Bloods. Simple as that. Now, far as the West Side, I know this for a fact. From my understanding, I was told that Giacomo said that he was fabricating. He confessed. And I'm glad that he did that, because I was very angry at Giacomo, because my homeboys who helped push this line lost their lives in the process of all this, getting gunned down, you know, ambushed and all these type of things. So yes, I had an attitude, and still do kind of got an attitude towards an individual who would actually fabricate on purpose just for the sake of a family member. You know, I believe in this. We all need to have principles. Principles in life is this. Just because your homeboy is a rapist, that don't have to make you a rapist. You can tell your homeboy, hey man, that's not right what you're doing. And that makes you a real man. That don't make you no buster. That don't make you less of a gangster. It's because you have principle. So don't follow what other people do just because they doing it. Be a leader in your own right and stand up and know what is right and what is wrong. Now, in this gang thing of today, what we have mixed up more than anything is that we don't have forgiveness in our heart. That's the key thing right there.
We didn't have forgiveness in our heart back in our days when we were gang banging. The average gang member that really got out there and participated in being I'm talking about a real gang banger, not a gang member. We didn't have a heart. We did shit.
But the 80s took it to another direction, my brother.
But it was the same. It's just a fallback off of the old school shit, because the old school, just saying like my generation before me, China Dog them, where the tone that they was setting, they set the tone for us. And then when the cocaine came in and, you know, everybody broke apart and started doing their own thing, now here we got, you know, now we got more shootings. It ain't no fightings, because I remember we used to get on our bikes and go to certain neighborhoods and fight. But the gunplay came. I was shot in 1980 right here in my chest. And that was the day I said, fuck the sticks, the bats, and all that shit, and took it to another level. If this is what you're going to do to me, this is what I got for you. So I don't have to torment you by beating your ass a certain kind of way, stab you and all that other bullshit. I'm going to take it, and it's easier, walk away from it and don't hear nothing about it. Just don't talk about it. But today, people get shot because of the color of the shirt you got on. So it's a big difference. But I think we got away from the old school way, y'all way, doing it a certain kind of way, and then bam. Like, I mean, I look at this book and it's got a lot of stories in it. So tell me where we fell off at as gang members, as gang bangers.
Well, I want to explain it to you this way. I'm going to use a brother, for example, that came against, from what the book says, 400 Crips and did not get stomped out. And Bulldog was the leader, second in command. And he go by the name of Rhea, a.k.a. Ray Boyce. All you have to do is read AC book and you will see, hey, this guy was no joke. You know what I'm saying? There's a picture that will be shown of him. You know, the AC explained to the world better than I did in a sense, because, you know, for an individual to get surrounded by a compound of Crips around 400 and they do not do nothing to him, you know, that is very, very unusual. That kind of like remind me of, how can I put it? That reminds me of Bruce Lee in a sense. I can remember when I used to watch Bruce Lee, everybody was surrounding him, but they was afraid to really attack him. He had to intimidate them for them to make the first move. So, you know, you have some people, man, that, you know, they respect people who know how to fight. You know, there is honor amongst individuals and even groups at certain time period. He got away with that because it was a certain time period. Time brings on a big change with that, though.
So at one time in gangsterism, if it was beef, most of that was settled with fisticuffs. People used to go out there and box.
Correct. Fisticuff. And that's what it's all about back in 1974, 1973, 1972. Now, don't get me wrong. They had individuals that was getting sniped that had reputation, like Chocolate. You know, he got sniped by At This Park Boy at Lock High, and it didn't have nothing to do with no Figueroa boys, as Tookie would say in his book, which is Blue Rays, Black Redemption. You know what I'm saying? And in his book, he said Chocolate was killed by a Figueroa boy. I don't know why he said that. I knew already, history already knew that it laid the foundation down, that it was the At This Park boys. And it gave me a sense of thought of maybe he didn't want to give anti-Crip the credit for that. That's the only way I can come up with that. Why? Maybe he didn't want to just really put it out there like that. But I understand that we all have pride, and we need to set the pride down and come with the truth. And the truth of the matter is, don't change the script because of your dislike or because of your pride and arrogance. You have to keep that real for the simple fact, because all them brothers, Crips and Bloods, who perish behind this nonsense, and I say it again, nonsense, you know what I'm saying? They need to be, I ain't gonna say honored, but they don't need to be disrespected also. I would say that. I feel by you telling a lie on somebody who died for something that they believe in, I think that's a slap in the face. I believe the old saying used to be, hey, that brother turning over in his grave, you know what I'm saying, behind what you just said. And by that statement, turning over in your grave mean whatever you did, you made a dead person disgusted of you to turn over in their grave. So when you sit up there and you bring on episodes on, Ray Boyce was a fighter and he never picked up a gun. So therefore, my shot caller, which is Raymond Washington, he never picked up a gun also, such as what Cukes would say, such as what Barefooted Pookie would also say. But I'm here to let you know that there's books here that I can elaborate from. A.C. King Babalouie, Original Pyru. He has it in his book and let you know the truth about his comrade, Raymond Washington, the original East Side Crips. Before any Crips came out.
You say Babalouie was original.
Original. He was there day one with Raymond.